Hi, I'm Sam Lopez. I'm a PhD student at the University of Utah studying aquatic contaminants in the Great Salt Lake. I study system processes that impact our health as well as ecosystem sustainability. Mercury is a contaminant emitted to the environment primarily during coal combustion, gold mining, and other industrial processes. Now, from emission sites, mercury can be transported long or short distances in the atmosphere before eventually ending up in water bodies like the Great Salt Lake. The surface of the Great Salt Lake is a robust ecosystem. Brine shrimp thrive in the oxygen and organic-rich waters of the Great Salt Lake, supporting a multi-million-dollar shrimping industry, and tens of millions of birds. The lake is such a valuable habitat to migratory birds that it is designated as a site of hemispheric importance. However, something sinister happens at the deepest portions of the lake, where dead brine shrimp and other organic matter accumulate. Bacteria down there respire the organic matter, and just like us, when we breathe oxygen to respire, let's say, pizza, they breathe oxygen to get that done. Oxygen levels at the bottom of the lake are therefore depleted. In the absence of oxygen, certain types of bacteria can breathe other things. Bacteria at the bottom of the Great Salt Lake can breathe sulfate. So you might be starting to wonder, how does this relate to mercury? When these bacteria, known as sulfate-reducing bacteria, breathe sulfate, they can convert mercury into a more toxic form, methylmercury. The conditions at the bottom of the Great Salt Lake are ideal for this process to occur, and some of the highest aqueous methylmercury concentrations were measured there. Methylmercury is bioaccumulative, meaning it accumulates in the bodies of organisms over time. It becomes more concentrated at higher levels of the food web through biomagnification. In the Great Salt Lake ecosystem, brine shrimp have very high mercury burdens, so it seems likely that the methylmercury produced at the bottom of the lake is entering the shallow waters in the aquatic food web. Methylmercury is a neurotoxin, and it can cause developmental problems in humans and reproductive and behavioral issues in birds. In this ecosystem, we're concerned about impacts to both humans and the tens of millions of birds that utilize the lake. Some species of birds living around the Great Salt Lake have mercury burdens so high that there are consumption advisories in place to protect hunters from methylmercury consumption. Typically, those sorts of advisories are issued for larger predatory fish, not birds, so we're actually pretty unique that way. This type of advisory is one example of how research can inform policies designed to limit the impacts of pollution. Anticipating the future of terminal lakes like Great Salt Lake is important, since dry lake beds can actually be significant sources of pollution.
The Great Salt Lake elevation is currently the lowest on record. This has exposed many miles of dry lake bed.
Wind events can mobilize dry lake bed sediment, creating poor air quality conditions. Very fine particulate matter is a significant air quality hazard, and it's also important to monitor what chemicals have accumulated in dry lake bed sediments. Owens Lake in the Salton and Aral Seas are examples of environmental disasters where excessive water diversions have caused drastic decreases in lake level. Now, wind events mobilize dust laced with pesticides and metals from the dry lake beds, impacting surrounding communities. So you can see that problems in the Great Salt Lake involve multiple disciplines like chemistry, geology, hydrology, even biology. Geoscientists with interdisciplinary backgrounds are going to be well equipped to tackle the challenges associated with environmental contaminants as pollution continues to threaten ecosystem sustainability. The more we know about how contaminants move through and interact with ecosystems, the more informed policy decisions will be that will hopefully mitigate pollution and protect environmental and human health. Thanks.